That's your reminder to drink your water. Water is really important. So I want to come live in here really fast. I really debated about going live in here, but I haven't gone live today. You know, it's one of the things I do. I go live every day to share my reel. Watch it, don't watch it, I don't really care. But today, I took Charlotte to Plentywood, which is about 45 minutes. Hi, friend. It's about 45 minutes from here. So I drove her there, and then I drove back. So I spent an hour and a half in the car, and it's a beautiful day out. There are big puffy clouds, and there was a little deer running alongside the road. I was like, don't attack my car, deer. But I had so much anxiety today about driving her there, and that's the thing about anxiety, right? It doesn't make any sense. Like, it's completely stupid. You rationally know it's dumb. About over 2 years ago, I was in a terrible car accident. Terrible. Totaled both cars. And it was one of those like life-shifting moments where just, it's a flashpoint. That's what Marshall calls it. Like, it was a life-changing moment. And that was kind of the catalyst where I was like, okay, I'm finally ready to leave Yuma, because traffic and everything. So we moved up here, and we live in this teeny tiny town of 1,100 people. And one of the perks is I can literally walk everywhere. And I don't really drive in the winter because, I have an Arizona car with high performance tires. Doesn't do well with snow and ice. And so I just walk everywhere. And today it's a beautiful day. I had no reason to feel anxious about driving, but I was so anxious. And then I got there, and I had like 4 things I needed at the grocery store. So I was like, oh, I could go to the other grocery store. But I completely talked myself out of it. And I drove home. I listened to a podcast because it's a perfect pocket of time to not just listen to music, but to actually work on my mental health, right? And so then I got back into town, and I had to run a couple more errands, and I legit have to pep talk myself. I have to psych myself up to go into stores and businesses. And this part of me hasn't existed in a really, really, really long time. Like, I'm talking pre-kids level of anxiety. And I didn't really recognize that's what it was. It's just anxiety. And so part of me feels stupid, like even telling you this, because I don't know how many messages I've gotten lately where you're asking me if I'm okay. I'm okay. I've been better, but I'm okay. I'm okay. I have lots of things to be grateful for. Things are going really well. But it's just it's that heart stuff. And I think it's really important for all of us to work through the heart stuff. And so I'm sharing it not for you to send me a pep talk, but I'm sharing it so that if you are dealing with that as well, that you'll maybe find the courage to book the therapy appointment or to go back to your doctor and look into medication. There's no shame in that game. I am a big proponent of medicating if you need to while you do the other work along with it. I have a big problem with medicating and not doing anything else to change your circumstances, because your circumstances will never ever change unless you take action. And I went live a couple days ago with that quote that really spoke to me about how generational curses aren't necessarily curses, they're generational choices. And so some things are just hardwired into us. Some things are there because that's how we were raised, but we all have personal responsibility. So I'm challenging you and encouraging you today to audit your life. And if there's something that doesn't feel right, do the freaking work around that. I just saw one of my most favorite people post on Instagram about how she's struggling with postpartum depression, and she feels like it's not important of a thing to talk about because so much the world is completely on fire and literally burning to the ground. But I'm so proud of her for speaking out and saying that, because it's going to resonate with someone else who's in those shoes, who feels completely alone. And whatever you're going through, it's legitimate. Other people might not be able to relate, but it is legitimate. And I don't think we should ever compare what we're dealing with. It shouldn't be a yardstick to someone else's. Your stuff is legitimate. And I see you, and I'm sending you virtual hugs, and I just want you to know that you're not alone. Do the work that you need to do. So I was like, wow, that's what this is. This is severe anxiety that I don't want to get out of my car to go into the grocery store to get the 3 or 4 things I need. This is me having to psych myself up to go into the post office, legit. Who is this person? Who am I? I have recessed, but I've also grown so much because I can identify it. And at this point, I don't feel like I need medication. I feel like I have enough coping tools that keep me sane. That's why I talk about my workouts every day. It's why I share about the personal development I'm doing. All those things, you guys, I don't talk about it because, you know, I'm got all my shit together. I talk about it because it's legit my therapy and it's helping me. And I know that if it's helping me, it could potentially help one of you. And hopefully you'll take a nugget or two from my story, my journey, and apply it to your life. And hopefully it will help you rock your journey. But I heard this quote today and I want to share it with you because it really resonates with me. The self-discipline is making your bed, and self-discipline is getting out of bed when your alarm goes off. Self-discipline is doing all the little things you don't want to do because they're needed to make the future the way you want it. And so I'm telling you that because if you're feeling super stuck and you're feeling really overwhelmed and maybe you're feeling really sad, you're the one that's responsible for that. You're the one that has the opportunity to like shift something. And it's not going to be like an overnight thing. I mean, I know sometimes you can't just move, or sometimes you can't just change your partner, or sometimes you can't just change all those things. But the thing we have control over is our mindset and our self-talk and the things that we're consuming and the stuff that we're focusing on. And so that's why today, when I was feeling all like crazy in my head, I was like, I'm going to listen to a podcast. I don't need to listen to the Sarah channel. It's not helpful. I don't need to listen to more Pandora Jesus music because, yeah, I really love that and I enjoy it, but it's not going to rewire my brain. And that's what personal growth does. Personal development, like you listen to enough of it and it freaking rewires your brain. True freaking story. So if you're feeling really struggling with your self-talk and maybe you feel like you're super negative, I'm going to give you a suggestion right now. If you've never listened to or read John Gordon's The Energy Bus, I highly recommend it. It's one of my very favorite. It was one of my very first personal growth books as well. And I listened to it with the kids and it was just, it was one of those life-shifting flashpoint moments for me. So we all have those in our lives. We have the good things and we have the bad things that kind of alter the direction of our future. And why am I telling you all this? I don't really know. Other than the fact that maybe something in your life isn't feeling right. And this will be your gut nudge to like dig a little and figure out what that is. And then take some action. Doesn't have to be an overnight fix. It's not going to be a Band-Aid. It's not going to be like this quick magical thing. But when we take ownership of it and we start to take action, that's how you shift your life and that's how you change your life. So have some self-discipline today in an area that you keep meaning to and you keep making excuses and keep putting off. Yeah? Yeah. All right, good talk. Thanks for coming. So anyway, I'm going to drink some more water. I'm going to control my controllables, which means I'm going to clean the kitchen because that always makes me feel better. And then I'm going to go back and finish the errands that I couldn't finish running earlier because, you know, small town life, post office was closed. But I'm going to go back. I have lots of good stuff going out in the mail. So if you're in my tribe and you're waiting for something from me, hey, I finally got my life together and I'm sending it your way. Yay! Anyways, friends, you are the owner of your life. You are the architect of your life. I believe that we all have free will and we get to decide who we choose to surround ourselves with and the stuff, the content that we choose to fill ourselves with. So if you're feeling super beaten down, which I think most of us are, step away from the mainstream media because they're filled with lies and do something that will inspire yourself and that will make a small difference because that's what this whole thing is, right? It's all about us taking action in our own lives and showing up and being the best version of ourselves. And that is what like boomerangs out into the world. True story.